I got home tonight. I had plans, but those got a little derailed because I got a package in the mail. You want to see what I got? Oh, it's a slab roller. Hooray! I just got it put together. Ha 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 ha. This mug for a maker is for a very special maker, the RedSmith. He is one of the very first makers I saw on YouTube, and I was quickly drawn into his work. Red has so many different abilities, it's hard to keep track. From forging to leatherwork, his work has inspired so many around the globe. As you saw at the beginning of the video, I just got my slab roller and really wanted to just try and make a slab mug. Because Red does a lot of leatherworking, I thought this would be a perfect piece to try this technique out with. Using slabs to make mugs, you can make it look like it's been thrown, or you can make it look like it's cardboard, or you can make it look like just about anything. And I thought, wow, this would be really cool to kind of make it look like it's a leather mug. I started by rolling out some 1/4 inch thick slabs. My roller uses shims to create the thickness. So instead of raising or lowering the rollers, the shims are inserted under the clay to get the desired thickness. You don't want the clay to interact with the rollers themselves directly, so you sandwich it between stock or canvas. Once the slab is rolled, you remove it from the roller. You also don't want to use your slab roller as a work surface. For the vessel itself, I had to think about the shapes I needed. Not unlike working with fabric or leather, I cut out the pieces for the bottom, the handle, and the accent pieces. For the body of the mug, I had to seam 2 slabs together to get the width and height that I needed. I smoothed out with a rib to hide the seam as much as possible. Red's logo is a bit complex to think about in 3D. Even though I just wanted to make an impression, I wanted different levels of depth. Since the white seems to fall under the red, I wanted to emulate that. Ben really helped me to work through that in my head and out loud, and so I then 3D printed the stamp. When I was working on the slab work, I was outputting the 3D stamp of Red's logo and a little stamp that I would use to emulate the thread or stitching. After the logo was completed, I stamped the center of the body slab and then added some texture. When all of the pieces were ready, I started assembling on my banding wheel. Using a banding wheel helps me to work on the piece in the round without picking it up and risking distortion. Each part was glued together by slipping and scoring. I've talked about this before, but it's just creating random texture on each piece where they attach together and using slip to glue to the attached parts. Slipping and scoring.
Where's the slipping going? Whoa! Herman,
After it was assembled, I did some minor cleanup and then applied the stitching with my 3D printed stamp. I was going to make multiple stamps for this, like 2 stitches wide and one at a 45-degree angle, but ultimately I felt like 1 stitch at a time would make it seem more authentically hand-stitched. Then once the piece dried sufficiently, in about a week or maybe 2, it was bisque fired.
I think survived here.
Glazing really wasn't anything special. However, I did pick up 2 new glazes for this to try out. Red's leather projects are typically dyed black with red stitching and maybe some accent red leather too. So I purchased Food Safe matte glazes by Amico and planned it out to match his style. I used brushes to apply and no wax resist this time, which was a happy thing. I referenced his logo to make sure I glazed the colors correctly, and then I glazed the inside for a nice accent with red.
Socks on carburetors, I have socks on right now.
When I finally was able to unload the glaze kiln, I shared the kiln unloading for the final glaze fire.
Now that's rad.
And here are all the beauty shots. Let me know if you have an idea for a mug or a technique I should try in the comments below. Thanks for checking this out.